Hi, my name's Tuukka Richardson. I'm currently a third year in the BDES program, and I'll just be doing a quick little once over of my creative application. I don't know why it cut off the first slide, but anyways, my first one for the like pet domicile project. What I did is I took inspiration from the Yamanashi Press and Broadcast Center in Japan, designed by Kenzo Tange, and I used the idea of metabolism as a movement for building generation. So in this case, the kind of the pets would make their own habitat because leafcutter ants tend to I don't know, go out from there. But this kind of like my title slide with like my hero shot. If I were to go back on this, I'd probably be a little more clean with the cardboard modeling. You can kind of see I have some like unexposed edges and a lot of like hot glue. Don't use hot glue. I have a lot of hot glue like edges there, so I just make it maybe a little bit cleaner. But I did is I more like cleaned it up in Photoshop and just had a bunch of annotations showing what things would do. Honestly, I wish I could lay these out a little bit better and maybe use like a grid system or something instead of just kind of like laying stuff out everywhere. That would kind of be a theme. But yeah, and then my last slide I used to kind of explain what's happening in it. Um, I think this explains things pretty well, maybe again a little more orderly. I did all of these in Google Slides. I would recommend not using Google Slides if you can. If you can get like Adobe Illustrator through your school, I would definitely recommend that. It's a little bit of a learning curve, but you get way more customization compared to just default Google Slides. But I decided to show sketches and like my ideation process, which honestly, I still think this works quite well. For my second project, it's the for the phone lamp prompt. This is essentially what I designed. It's pretty basic on the outset, but I had to revise it quite a bit, and that's kind of what I tried to focus on for most of this. It's very similar to the last one in that I have this hero shot, and then on the second slide, I have, all this like what it does, where things are. If anything, I would again order the things on the left side to be more in a grid, and I would try to format everything a little nicer, and maybe try to keep it on a grid system, especially since my things literally translates to light cube. I feel like that would keep the presentation a little better together. If I were to redo these shots, I would probably have some sort of paper in the background to give it a flat background because I just did these on my bathroom countertops since it's the only room in my apartment that had any or that didn't have windows. So I would probably change that around. And if you have like Adobe Lightroom adjusted in there, and then this is kind of my ideation process. Again, formatting, focus on the formatting. I would have made the font smaller. I would have tried to arrange things a lot nicer, make the annotation a little bit more readable. But I tried to also show how I had my prototype designs in the first slide or in the first photograph. And then I tried to make it through like a rough model, realized it wouldn't work. So I went back to the drawing board, iterated, and then ended up with my final form, which I think was really good in showing that I could pivot from one thing to another, especially like under a time constraint. And then for my last one, I don't really stand behind this one as much anymore, but also I think I did this one in a day. This was very much like rushing it at the end there. But what I decided to do is I decided to use like flower language as a mediator, in that people would have these kind of like masks they would wear on their head, and it would use like the idea of flower language to show like their emotions or like what their more like personality type is. I don't really stand with this one as much anymore. This kind of like purple on this gray doesn't work. And if anything, I'd probably just refine again with all of these presentation matters. I would refine the presentation a bit more. This paper texture I have on this like drawing I did isn't the greatest, so I'd take that out. Again, similarly here, I would try to really refine my drawing here. I did it quite fast and it didn't end up as nice as I thought it would. So I would have really kind of tried to go and revisit that. Same with the font and everything, but same idea where I have like a hero shot. This one I explained more at the start, and then I have a lot more exposition to explain these since I feel it's quite a bit more conceptual than my other ones. And then this last one kind of walks through my design iteration process that I had and kind of like the phases I went through. Um, yeah, again with layout, things could be like tweaked a little more. Like the images could not go to the edge of the border. I could like condense them a little bit, but I think that's mainly it. Yeah. Anyways, thank you.